What's up, YouTube land? This is Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, bringing you another Transformers third-party review. This review is brought to you by titanonetoys. titanonetoys is an awesome place to go online. They are fast, they are friendly, they have some of the best customer service ever, and just a really great place to go. Go hit them up on Facebook. And the figure that we're going to be reviewing today is the FansToys Apache. Oh, that's almost too big. Apache. Apache is FansToys' take on Springer. Wherever that is, I don't even know. This is Apache. Now, FansToys is a company that's been putting out. They've been putting out a lot of good stuff this year. Like I've really been impressed with a lot of things that they do. But they also kind of have a bit of a reputation for being kind of convoluted. And so, but I don't think that this figure is that bad, especially once you get it in hand and kind of get past the, like with a triple changer, because it does like 3 different things, like there's always this kind of like intimidation factor. And once you get past that with this figure, like it's really not that bad at all. But yeah, he's a pretty good likeness of Springer from the movie and the season 3 of Transformers G1. He's got his signature weapons, his blaster, rifle, pistol thingamajig here, and his sword. I think the colors on this guy are really good. I've got this 4-way comparison between all the different third-party Springers cooking up, and as I said in that, I don't know if he's my favorite sculpt, but he's certainly my favorite color scheme. I just think that he looks really good. But his weapons tab in with the they've got this little divot out here because there's a screw that keeps the hands together, so that just fits into that divot right there. And then his fingers close around. He does have individually articulated fingers with a couple points on each finger and 1 on the thumb, assuming you don't get, well, I mean, this ball joint and this one. It does make for like a really wide, kind of blocky looking hand, but he's a Transformer. He's an 80s cartoon character. You kind of, that's actually kind of par for course. But yeah, so he's got articulated fingers. He's got swivel in the wrist. Elbow goes a little more than 90 degrees. He does have a bicep swivel that kind of squeaks a bit. His arm will go all the way around if you need it to. It'll go out yay far. His head is on a pivot here, and then it's on another hinge here, so he's got quite a bit of articulation. I want looking real quick, like FansToys has really been putting like good paint apps on the faces lately. Like I thought that the eyes on their cup or coot, not cup, coot, were really good, and this guy just kind of keeps just knocking it out of the park, where they're not light piped or backlit or anything at all, but just the contour of the eye with the specific type of metallicity in the paint that they're using is just, it just really makes that look nice. And I think that that's something that you don't get out of light piping, and you don't get out of backlighting, and you don't get out of all these other gimmicky things that companies like to do. Like I think that this is really the best way to do eyes, especially. But he's got rotation at the waist, not surprisingly not really hindered at all by his backpack, which is nice. He's got little hip skirt thingamajig here. You can move out of. Let me put the sword out. The sword is poking everything around here. All right, drop that. Drop your weapon. All right. Leg kicks all the way forwards. A little bit back, not much back, but a little bit back, like one click back. His hips have got a bicep swivel right here. They've got a bend at the knee, technically a double bend at the knee, but there's not really a whole lot that you can get out of that other one, unless I've been sorely mistaken all of this time. But no. But I mean, that'll get you good, 90 degrees out of that. He's got a little bit of rock on his ankle, a little bit of pivot on his toe, and that's it for that. So I mean, he's a decently well articulated figure. He'll do a Springer pose, whatever a Springer pose is. Gosh, I hate to think of what some of the Springer poses are in conjunction with that picture they posted of their RC figure. But yeah, his face looks a little washed off. Let me so we can see pretty good, like the sculpt of the face. Really good sculpt on the face there. But yeah, all in all, he's really nice figure. Has got all the correct little doodads in the right places and whatnot. So he does, of course, transform into a helicopter and a car. And I'm not sure which one I'm going to do next. So brought the old, two-sided die here. We're going to leave it to fate. So heads, we turn them into a car. Tails, we turn them into a helicopter. How about that? And tails it is. So we're turning him into a helicopter. So, all right. To get down into transformation, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop open this panel right here on his chest. We're going to pop open this panel that is his chest. And then it's hard to see. It's actually probably going to be impossible to see on this camera, but basically there's this pin that attaches the whole chest plate on, and that is like on a little slot with clicks on each end. We're going to take this and we're going to pull it. We're going to take it, grab it on an angle, and we're going to pull it straight out until it clicks. And that'll give us enough clearance to get it over his head, because he's got just a massive noggin. I'm going to put that down most of the way down. It doesn't go all the way in quite yet. So now in this section here, we're going to take these panels on the side of his torso, and they're on this double hinge system here. So we're going to pull them out and up, out and up. Now this whole, like these arms are on this little slider things here, but this whole thing is on the little armature as well. You can actually kind of see the slot for it right in there. So this is going to slide down like that, just a bit. That'll allow this head to clear all the way. So it's going to fit in there. We're going to take this piece here. We're going to push back down on it to get it go back into its original position. Now, we're going to take this piece here and fold it right along here. That's going to pull out this panel. And this panel, we're going to fold that back in so that that's flush. And then this tab is going to fit into that slot right in there. And it's a frustrating slot to put it in because it's a really strong click. And then this panel right here goes in. We are then going to take this piece here, and his waist section slides up and down, but it also slides in and out this way. And so we're going to do a little maneuver here where we push the arms in. We have to push them in past this hinge right here. And then we're going to push this in and up. And I think that the best way to do this, because these tabs, there's little tabs on here too. These tabs like to get in the way. But they also don't like to get out of the way. They're really picky tabs. Push that in, push that up. All right, so that's in the place. You'll notice that these have gone into those grooves. So now these tabs are going to go into the slots on the side of his torso. And that will hold him all securely. And you'll be happy to know, by the way, that this doesn't move between his car mode and his helicopter mode. So we don't have to worry about this anymore, which is nice. So in the transformation, I've already kind of done it, but let me undo it. We're going to take these and we're going to fold these up. We're going to fold it down into the chest on this double hinge. Let me see, we're putting him into helicopter mode, right? Yeah, so in helicopter mode, then we're going to take this panel here. Yeah, let's get this backpack out of the way a bit. Pull it out. And we're going to open up this panel. And we're going to rotate. Now you'll see that this comes through and there's a slot inside there. Yeah. Sorry, my cameras, my phone, my lights are getting in the way. They just need to be light. I need like magic lighting that doesn't like have a physical spot, but just is like magic lights that just appear places. That would be awesome. So we're going to rotate this out. This arm is going to, this tab is going to fit into that slot. Just slide right up. If we open up, let's see. The thumb is going to go down. The fingers are going to curl in. Your typical closed fist posture for posable hands. So this is the front of his arm. And so we're going to put it in that position right there. Woo! That position right there. And then we're going to pop open both of these hatches. And it's going to turn around just the one way. It doesn't go the other way. Close these back up. And that is it for that arm. Now, the second arm is the same as the first arm. It's just on the other side. Which is, you know, kind of a funny thing when you think about it, because I don't know. You ever stop and think, why are people symmetrical? You know, it's just kind of an interesting thing to ponder. And as I was thinking about this the other day, I know this is totally off topic, because here we are having a video discussion about Transformers, and I'm like, oh, let's talk about symmetry. Like everything is symmetrical. Well, I don't have time to go into that right now because I'm already at the next step. So ask me about it and I'll tell you my thoughts. So there's this panel on the underside of his backpack, and that's going to fold out. We're going to fold this out on either side. Make sure that you fold it out flush, otherwise it gets caught up on itself like this. All right. And this is important, especially in this mode, because there's these two little tabs in the arm and these two little slots. You can see them here and here. And those are going to eventually all tab in together, but right now I'm just going to put them into place. I'm not going to worry about tabbing it. Now the next thing that happens is we're going down to the legs. We're going to unpeg this whole panel right here on the side of his leg. And we're going to pull off this chunk right here. And this whole thing is going to come out on this tab. Now while we're in this position, I'm going to pull this. You can see this is on a slider that goes back and forth. I'm going to slide it all the way out until it clicks. I'm going to bring it out. That is the bulk of the back of his helicopter mode. Now let's just do it with the other one while we're already here. So unpeg this, pull that all the way out. Push this all the way down. In these, you've got a big peg here, big hole there, little pegs here, little holes here, peg, hole, etc., etc., etc. Tabs and slots all the way up here. They are going to go together, as I'm sure you can imagine. Because, let's be honest, this most likely is not your first rodeo. If it is, then, wow, kid. I feel for you, man. All right. It's a helicopter, almost. While I'm here, you've got these tabs on this back panel here and corresponding slots on the back of his legs. We're going to straighten out his legs and convince those tabs to go into those slots. Let's do a little bit of sweet talking there. Alrighty. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these. We're going to rotate it right here, because it rotates right here at what used to be the kneecap. And then this whole thing in here is going to come out and just fold all the way out. By the way, there's my bro 34QC doing his job. I'm going to fold this like that. So basically, with the foot like this, slid out, this whole part is going to come and be the underside of the helicopter. The way we're going to do that is we're going to take this and we're going to put it up. This tab is going to fit into that slot right there. This peg is going to fit into that hole right there. And then this peg is going to wrap around and fit into that slot. A little divot right there. Oh, and this one is also in there. So, and the best way to do this is to just put in that peg first, just exactly in the order that I just described. And then this peg goes into there. And then we're going to fold this up, peg it into there. And then last but not least, we're going to take this and rotate it just like that. All right, now for the other side. I guess this is as good a time to continue the little thoughts I had about symmetry. Because everything's symmetrical. We got 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 nostrils. You know, everything comes in the left side and the right side. Now, of course, there's some things that are not symmetrical, but they're basically all internal things. Like, you know, you've only got 1 liver, you've only got 1 pancreas. So it's all symmetrical. It's got to match both sides. It's got to be all proper about it. Alrighty, so here's the helicopter mode, more or less. We're going to take his sword. We're going to split it all the way down the middle, like that. It splits apart here, and then it folds this way. And there are little slots in here, or little tabs that need to fit into these little... It's keyed. And that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. Oh, this gun, I know it's gonna go in here somewhere, but I haven't quite figured it out. There's this big old peg here. There's this big old peg on the bottom of the handle, but I haven't figured out where exactly that goes. And my first instinct was that it goes there, but it's too big and too wide. It doesn't want to fit. Oh, hey, I didn't have that in very well at all. Oh, wait. I wonder if that... Nope, that does not like it. So, I don't think that you are going to be able to peg these together. Because if you look, this is connected to this piece, which is connected to this piece, and these are tabbed together all the way. And this doesn't go any farther together than this. And this is meant to be symmetrical with that, so... I don't know. Wait a second. Nope. So... But there's his helicopter mode. And it looks an awful lot like a helicopter. You know, I mean, by which I mean it looks a lot like Springer's Cybertronian helicopter. He's got a lot of heft to him. I didn't even point out. Oh, by the way, those go out like that. I didn't even point out the amount of die-cast that he's got on. Like, the feet are all die-cast here, 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 here. This whole front chest panel, I think, is die-cast. Maybe it's not. But I mean, he cleans up fairly nice. I don't know that he's like the cleanest of the Springers, but he does it pretty well. He's not quite. I haven't been able to get him to be quite straight on here, but I'm not sure that he's supposed to be. I think that even in the animation, like he had a little bit of, 80s mush curvature to him, and I think that that's like meant to be replicated here. But yeah, I mean he's got, like, again he's got all the looks down, all the lines in place. His colors just are fantastic. The contrast of the brighter green with this like olive green and the like yellow just makes it pop. A little bit of gray to offset it. The undercarriage is surprisingly well hidden. And yeah, he's just fun. He's cool. He's got a nice transformation to him. I like this. I like it a lot, actually. But let's get him transformed into his car mode, which is next. This seems to be just a little tiniest bit floppy. This one's not so much, but I don't know, whatever. So, to put him into his car mode, as I mentioned earlier, the core of it all stays where it's at. The legs, these parts basically go back to where they were, and then we're going to flip these around. So, pull that up, flip that around, flip that around. An important thing to point out, by the way, at this point, is that you've got this tab right here, and that pegs into this hole that you can see. And it doesn't want to peg in unless you've got it connected in. And that is, I don't know, for alignment purposes and whatnot. Let's get this tab undone so we can pull down these legs a bit. Let's get these split. The connection here is just awful tight. Yeah. Gosh, that just is really tight. I know what I'll do. We'll just take the little quarter here and stick it in there. Use it as leverage. You've heard of money being used as leverage, but maybe not quite like this. All right. So, there we go. That's done. Yeah, perfect. No. All right, so right here we've got this panel here, and it's connected with a double hinge, and we're going to take this out and we're going to push it up, and this tab is going to, there's another slot in there. And now we've got this armature. Now this originally it's this position in helicopter mode, and it's this position in robot mode, but for car mode it's going to come out and it's going to be straight perpendicular to it. And you've got this tab right here, and in robot mode it fits in this slot here. In car mode we're going to put it in that one. So the first thing I like to do is I like to line that peg up, and then you kind of hold on to this while you do this transformation so that doesn't come undone. And that's going to help you keep everything aligned. Make sure that this part is slid up. Now when you pull this piece up, you're going to kind of slide it around. There's a peg right in there. You can kind of see the silhouette of it. That's going to go into a hole right in there. Oh, by the way, while this is here, we'll pull out the wheel because it's a lot easier to do now than it is later. And so we're going to pull this up and in, make sure that this tab is going to go in. Now that peg is in there, now we've got these two holes here and one peg here. This is the hole that it went into in robot mode. This is the hole it's going to go in car mode. So we're going to bring that up. Actually, I need to put all this into position first. Yank that around. Put that like that. So put this in that peg hole there. And it's hard to see in there, even under the best of conditions. And right now is not necessarily the best of conditions, so you kind of got to do it more by feel than anything else. But there, now that's in. And take this and turn that around. This is just going to hang out back here. Like you're going to move the foot, the toe, as far up into this position as you can. And then this is going to rotate that right there. And then this peg right here is going to plug into that slot. Again, there's two different slots here. This one was for robot mode. This one is for car mode. And if you set it up, I mean, the difference between robot mode and car mode for this leg configuration is just the position of the pegs. And once you understand that, like it really simplifies the whole transformation. So there's one all done. And we're going to do the other one a lot quicker because I'm just going to show you and I'm not going to explain it as much. because I'm already at like 30 minutes, and who wants to watch me mess around with the figure for, you know, half an hour? Whoever's still around, you probably are here because you need a transformation guide. And that's part of the reason why I do this all without any cuts, without any edits, without any, you know, I show this to everybody just straight up. This is how it is. Put that all into position. Turn this around. Like that. Put it on that peg. The transformation is done exactly the same on the other side, of course, because of symmetry. The only difference being all of what was pegs on the one set half, they're all holes now, and what were holes are now pegs. So all right. Bam. 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 And bam. Come on. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now we're just going to take these, peg them both back together. Make sure this foot is in the right position. Oh, something came loose inside. That's a problem. I know this heel wants to go up a little bit more. I don't know. The heel doesn't feel like it wants to go up a little bit more. So there it is. Yeah, it is a little bit of a chore. That, and I still can't seem to get the heel in the right position. Arr. Whatever. The heel's just going to be in the wrong position. I don't have the time to fix it like I could, but, you know, then we'd be here for another 20 minutes while I'm doing one thing, and nobody wants to watch that. So for this part, basically what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up. It's going to slide across. Let's make sure that this panel is open. It's going to slide across and go like that, and then slide back up. This panel is going to come out, this little tab, fit into that slot right there. Bam, close this gap up. And the same for the other side. Open up this panel, move that around part of the way, turn it, slide it, turn it the rest of the way, bring it up, panel out, close this panel right here. And there's that. He does feature gun storage. Ooh, hey, let's move this down a bit. He does feature weapon storage in this mode. You can take the handle here when it's folded up. You kind of split this right here ever so gently without like messing up all of your hard work. And it'll slide in. There's this little hollow inside there. And they'll actually fit in there, and then you tab it back together. That will just point forward. And then this, you'll notice that there is a off-center hole there. And that peg will fit right in there. And that's his weapon storage. So, yeah, there's a Cliff Jumper, or I mean Springer, whatever your name is, in his car mode. So his car mode definitely gets kudos in that it doesn't really look like a helicopter. It also doesn't really look like a robot. I think the proportions of it are a bit weird because it seems to be like really narrow, and there's this line that's pretty prevalent in this mode that just kind of goes all the way up along here, and then these just like stick out. So it's like wide up here and like narrow in the back. And I guess that's kind of, I mean, that is kind of a thing with all of the Springers. Springers are all kind of wide in the front and narrow in the back, but this guy just seems to really emphasize it a bit. And I don't know if I really like that, but you know, you take what you can get. And in the big Springer comparison video, that's really going to be the best way to see, you know, who shines and who doesn't and whatnot. I think that this guy is a very good likeness of Springer, and I think that his transformation, like this part, there's a lot of hinges, there's a lot of pegs and holes and tabs and slots and whatnot, and it is kind of a chore to get your head wrapped around it, but once you do, I think that everything really turns out quite well. I think that it's really nice. But anyhow, I have wasted enough of your guys' time. Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. You guys are awesome. Everybody be good to each other, and I'll see you later. So, a quick addendum. What I said about storage on this car mode, well, as it turns out, this panel here is painted, and this part here is painted, and that amount of paint kind of changes the tolerance, and it fit really well. And then when I tried to pull it off, it just kind of sheared that peg straight off. So, like, it's cool that they put that feature there, but you want to be a little cautious about actually using it. Like, I mean, don't do it unless you're willing to have it stay there forever. Or possibly don't worry if you're not worried about losing your peg, maybe. So, yeah, I mean, it did break off super flush. So, like, this is almost not even noticeable. But yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that up a bit. Haven't turned them back into robot mode yet, but I'm pretty certain that this detent is purely for the sword, and it doesn't fit in anything in his chest. So shouldn't have any issues with the transformation in case this happens to you. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna have to like drill that out or something. I don't know. But something to be warned about. Everybody continue to have a fantastic day, and be real wary of storing your swords underneath your car. I don't know. I'm sorry, Matt.